Hello, welcome to another taste test. You may have seen some of our chocolate tasting videos a while back, including the infamous Terry's Chocolate Orange. Today it's a rather rainy day, but it's summer, and we're going to try out some cold brew coffee. I'm Paddy, this is Amanda, our official super taster. So, can you tell me what is cold brew coffee and what we're going to be drinking today?
So, we decided to try cold brew coffee because we see it advertised at a lot of the local cafes, and it seems to be quite popular at the moment. Cold brew coffee is where you take your ground coffee, put it in the cafetiere, add cold water and leave it for around 12 hours so it kind of percolates by itself or steeps, rather than as we would usually do, pouring hot water on the coffee and drinking it very shortly afterwards. So the coffee we've used for both is this. It's called Grumpy Mule. It's a fair trade coffee. We always buy fair trade coffee because obviously that gives the growers a much better income than non-fair trade coffee. I particularly like this one because it's called Grumpy Mule, and mules are part horse and I love horses, so I always choose the Grumpy Mule one when I can see it because it's kind of got a half horse on the front.
And you're a bit grumpy at breakfast time.
And I'm grumpy at breakfast time.
Before you've had your coffee.
Before I've had my coffee. But the main thing is it's fairly small company and it's fair trade, so that's the kind of headline. It's also really nice coffee, so this is what we've used for both. We bought it yesterday, so it should be really nice and fresh still.
Well, you've never tried it. I've just had a very small sip just now. I know which of these two is cold brew and which one isn't, and you don't. Which one do you want to try? You can see one's a lot more cloudy than the other one.
So this is really cloudy. You can't actually see through it. It almost looks like it's had something added to it already. It's that cloudy. There's a slight film on the top, but not really, just very, very slight. It smells basically like coffee. If I leave my cup of coffee at work for the day, it kind of's got that kind of smell where it's been sitting around for a little while.
I should say that for the non-cold brew coffee, I've just made a small amount of coffee with hot water and topped it up with cold water and refrigerated it.
So it kind of smells all right. It smells a bit nutty, but not. That's about it, really. It tastes a bit weak. It's not that strong tasting.
I'm a bit parsimonious on my coffee. I don't put as much in as people would like sometimes.
So I would like this to be a lot stronger. It's got that same slightly kind of nutty taste that I smelt. I'm not quite sure how to describe the taste. Like a taste on the back and the side of the tongue is the main place you taste it. And it's slightly odd drinking coffee that's cold because you do just psychologically think that's been sat around for a while and gone cold, rather than it's meant to be cold. So that's that one.
Try a bit of that one as well.
This one, like you can see, is, you can't really see, well, you can just see through it. It's got a lot more light in it and it's a nice dark amberish colour. Again, has a tiny bit of film on the top, but not as much as the other one. It's got a very different smell from the other one. It's almost like yeasty smelling, but not quite. But a kind of a much fresher smell than the other one. The other one doesn't really taste at all fresh, whereas this one's got a bit more fresh smellingness and a bit slightly sharper smell. And again, it kind of tastes a little bit fresher, but it's still way too weak. But you taste it more in the middle of the tongue than the other one. And again, it's slightly sharp tone to it, but not massively sharp.
So which one do you prefer out of the two? This one, yeah. I mean, it looks nicer as well. Can you guess which one is the cold brew and which one is the hot brew?
I think that's cold brew because it tastes like it's been sat around for a long time.
You'll be surprised to hear from my secret mark on the bottom.
That's the cold brew.
This is the cold brew.
Oh, okay.
And presumably the hot water's brought more of the cloudiness
stuff out. Yeah.
There's such a difference in those two.
Yeah, so that is significantly nice. So that is just not particularly nice. I mean, I'd drink it if I really wanted some caffeine, but if I was really thirsty or something. But it's not. I think it's partly because it's so weak.
I'm not make it stronger and because that fresh tasting one, as you put it, has been sitting around for probably about 20 hours. I've started steeping it overnight and laying a bit. So that's steeped for from about 3 one day till about 11 or 12 the next day.
And that one is more refreshing. You can kind of imagine that with ice or sort of if you're particularly hot, not on such a rainy day as today, that would be quite pleasant to drink.
Shall we try it with some rice milk? We quite like this alternative to milk. It is quite, I think it's very sweet actually, but it might add the sweetness to the coffee without requiring any extra sugar. But yeah, I think it does need to be stronger.
You're doing both the cold brew for this?
Yeah, those are both cold brew. Cheers.
Cheers. I mean, the overpowering taste is the rice milk in that. I think if the coffee was stronger, that would work nicely.
Yeah, it's still got some bitterness to it.
Got a little bit of bitterness,
I guess coffee does really, doesn't it?
But
maybe
again,
it needs a bit more sugar, possibly.
Yeah, or a little bit of ice or something. I mean, again, it's quite refreshing. It's quite pleasant. I don't know if I'd go for the whole. I suppose if you just leave it lying around for 12 hours brewing, it's okay. I suppose for me, I think of coffee as a hot drink and a strong drink, so something that's weak and cold isn't doing it. Although it has made me think that maybe in the summer when it's really hot, like if we'd had this yesterday after being out, it would have actually been really nice to come back and have one of those drinks as a kind of refreshing drink when we got in. But I think on a kind of rainy morning, it's not as successful. I think it's worth people who like coffee having a go at it at home because it is a different experience and a different taste, and you don't have to pay a huge amount to have a cold brew in a kind of hipster cafe somewhere. You can just make it yourself, particularly if you've got a couple of cafetières. You can have one with a cold brew in and one with a hot brew in, so then you've got coffee for all different scenarios.
Would you consider a cold brew coffee as a breakfast drink, or do you want the conventional hot coffee?
I'd kind of prefer hot coffee as breakfast, I think.
In all weathers, yeah?
Yes, I think so. I think I'd have cold brew coffee later in the day. Maybe I kind of imagine it like if it was really hot at 11s, or maybe if it wasn't quite as hot in the mid-afternoon, it would make a really nice kind of afternoon. I guess like some people drink iced tea, maybe having a cold coffee would work nicely in the afternoon. But I like my strong hot coffee in the morning. I'm not having anything interfere with that.
Okay, so the take home is cold brew coffee does taste different and it's okay and quite easy to make, and you can make your own for a lot cheaper than you can buy it. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.
And happy tasting.